Think about a time when you completely walked away from someone. Maybe it was a friend you had known for years. Maybe it was a family member or a partner. You did not scream. You did not throw things. You did not even send a long, dramatic message explaining your feelings. Instead, one day, something incredibly small happened, and a switch just flipped inside your brain. You quietly blocked their number. You unfollowed them on social media. You stopped reaching out, and when they tried to contact you, you simply did not exist to them anymore. You closed the door, locked it, and walked away without looking back. If you have done this, you probably know how the rest of the world views you. People call this behavior toxic. They call it ghosting. They say you are running away from your problems, that you are incapable of communication, or that you are cold and unforgiving. They make you feel like you are the villain in the story because you chose silence instead of an argument. But what if I told you that suddenly cutting people off is rarely an act of cruelty? What if, for highly sensitive people and deep introverts, it is actually the ultimate act of psychological self-defense? Today, we are going to explore the psychology behind why some people suddenly cut everyone off, and why, if you have done this, you are not the cold-hearted person society tells you that you are. To understand why the sudden disconnect happens, we have to look at the weeks, months, or even years leading up to it. When an introverted or highly empathetic person cuts you off, it is never actually sudden. It just looks sudden to the outside world. In reality, it is the result of a long, silent, and exhausting process. If you are this type of person, your natural instinct is to be understanding. You are the listener. You are the peacemaker. When someone crosses your boundaries, you do not immediately react with anger. Instead, you absorb it. You make excuses for their behavior. You tell yourself that they are just having a bad day, or that they did not mean to hurt you. You try to communicate your discomfort in quiet, gentle ways. You pull back slightly, hoping they will notice your change in energy and adjust their behavior. You give them second chances, third chances, and 10th chances. You keep giving pieces of your own emotional energy to keep the relationship afloat, even when the other person is constantly draining you. You are essentially carrying the entire emotional weight of the connection on your own shoulders, bleeding out quietly while smiling and pretending everything is fine. But there is an absolute limit to how much a human nervous system can take. Psychologists sometimes refer to this building process as the phenomenon of 1,000 paper cuts. One paper cut does not kill you. 10 paper cuts are annoying but manageable. But eventually there are simply too many wounds. The psychological breaking point happens when your brain realizes that this person is never going to change, and that staying in contact with them is actively destroying your mental health. This is the moment the switch flips. It is a deeply fascinating psychological mechanism. It is not an explosion of anger. It is an emotional death. Your brain, in a desperate attempt to protect you from a complete mental breakdown, simply shuts off all emotional attachment to that person. The love, the care, the frustration, and the anxiety all vanish, leaving behind nothing but a cold, empty void. You do not hate them. You just feel absolutely nothing for them anymore. This is why the disconnect feels so jarring to the other person. They are used to you being endlessly patient. They are used to you tolerating their disrespect. So, when you finally hit your absolute limit over something seemingly tiny, like an unreturned phone call or a slightly rude comment, They are shocked. They think you are overreacting to that one small event. They do not realize that the small event was just the final drop of water that caused the glass to overflow. When you quietly block them and disappear, it is not a punishment. You are not trying to teach them a lesson or manipulate them into missing you. You are trying to survive. For someone with a fast-draining social battery, arguing is exhausting. Trying to explain your feelings to someone who has spent years misunderstanding you is a waste of your precious, limited energy. Silence is not a weapon. Silence is your shield. It is the only way to guarantee that no more of your energy will be stolen. However, the aftermath of cutting someone off is rarely easy. Even though you know in your gut that you made the right decision, society's judgment often creeps in. You might sit alone in your room late at night, wondering if you are broken. You might feel a heavy wave of guilt for not trying just one more time. You might wonder if you are destined to be completely alone because your tolerance for disrespect is so incredibly low. If you are carrying that guilt right now, I need you to listen to me very carefully. You are allowed to protect your peace. You are allowed to decide who gets access to your energy and who does not. Walking away from relationships that constantly drain your soul does not make you a bad person. It makes you someone who has finally learned to value themselves. You gave them 1,000 chances in silence, and they chose not to take them. The fact that you eventually chose your own mental health over their comfort is something to be proud of, not something to apologize for. You do not owe anyone an explanation for your absence when they did not value your presence. Your energy is your most valuable currency, and it is completely okay to stop spending it on people who leave you bankrupt. If you have ever had to suddenly cut someone out of your life to protect your own sanity, leave a comment below and tell me how it felt when you finally let them go. Subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into the psychology of quiet people. Remember, your peace is worth protecting. I will see you in the next video.